Hey everybody, welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. I'm your girl, Coach Crystal, and we are streaming live. I know if you've been following Wisdom Wednesdays, you've been seeing me and a guest in a different spot, but we are coming to you live from the Brown Beach Bungalow with Leilani Brown. Hey. Welcome. Listen, if you're new to this channel or you're new to this particular event that we host, I'm Coach Crystal, the Chief Visioning Officer of Steps and Stages Coaching, and I want to welcome you into our community the same way I welcome clients in every week with our mantra that just says, a lot of things happen before this, and I guarantee a lot of things are going to happen after this, but I promise to be here with you now. Please be here with us now. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays, y'all. Welcome, Leilani.
Hi, thank you. I'm glad you're here.
I'm so glad. Listen,
I'm glad you asked.
I have listened. She's the hostess with the mostest. Okay, I thought I was coming as the podcast host. Here we are. No. There's water. There's snacks.
Snacks.
This is the decor is elegant.
If you come, you're welcome.
Well, I feel welcome.
It's a good chill vibe. There's music. Candles.
It smells so good in here, y'all. I wish I could tell you how it smells. Leilani, in your own words, just introduce yourself to our audience.
I am Leilani Brown. In what capacity? That's a hard question.
It's interesting that you say that because tonight we're going to talk about transitions, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, tell them the most important identities to you.
My most important identities: mother, daughter, sister, friend.
Yeah,
take that very seriously.
Yes, me too.
Student and teacher.
Yeah. Amazing. Y'all, we're gonna just chat. This is a lot different because I get to be with the person in person. This is amazing.
We have to make sure we're looking
right. We have to make sure we talk to you. What I want to make sure of is that everyone knows you can always post your comments or your questions in the chat, and we will get to them as soon as we can. But tonight I invited Leilani here to talk about transitions, and I specifically chose this topic. One, because Leilani has authored several books about how people get from one stage to the next. Leilani has evolved into different iterations over the years, over her career, over her life. And she has lately just made a transition into something that we just want to refer to as freedom.
Yes.
Just want to call it what it is, people.
Yes.
And so we want to talk about that as well. So if you want to drop your questions in the chat, feel free. I'm just going to jump right in.
Okay.
Transitions, right? A lot of people try to avoid them.
Yes, because they're hard.
Yeah.
Because transitions are about letting go. But one of the lessons that I have learned, I knew this lesson, but I keep relearning it, that you have to let go and you have to surrender. And I tell friends who are facing transition, some of their choosing, some not of their choosing.
Right.
That if you close your fists and your hands and you hold tight to something, they can't be open to receive the new.
Yeah.
So that is an informing principle around transition for me.
I think of the same thing in terms of the open palm, right? I often think about it also as like when we're little kids hanging on the monkey bars,
right?
And your hands start to burn,
right.
And like, what's the worst thing?
Right.
Is that you just fall,
right?
Yeah,
you fall
and you fall,
but you never know what's going to be on the other side.
Exactly.
And what I also have learned is that as I have let go of things and situations and things that no longer serve me. Let's just use it that way.
Right.
It has made room for new and better things.
Yeah. I agree that. So this is our guiding quote. We've been doing this quote for the entire year. And it's by Pico Eiler. It says, "You're only as strong as your readiness to surrender."
There you go.
So you're bringing this up like right on point with what we've been talking about all year. But that surrender word is hard for people too.
It is because you have to let go of control. But that doesn't mean you have to let go of all control. That setting boundaries is an appropriate way to use your power and control.
Right.
And I think, but it can be uncomfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you don't know what forces are at play outside of you that may be navigating towards something that you don't like.
Right.
That's why you don't, that's why we don't naturally surrender. It's not the most natural thing. That falling exercise that people do, but so it's about surrender. But on the other side of surrender is trust.
Right.
Trust.
Yes.
Trust.
Yes.
And so if you are a faithful person, which I am, there are things to believe in, and you have to trust, and you have to have faith over fear.
Yeah.
So,
y'all, I didn't give her the script, but we've been talking about this. If you've been watching this, right? This is how we're proving all the time that success is not a secret; it's a system, and the system of trust and faith and love are things we practice to then present ourselves ready to surrender.
Yeah. I had to learn it. And I think, and it's a practice. Yes. It's something that you work at every day. There are some times when I'm like, ooh,
I want to practice today. Do I have to go to practice today?
Yeah. I know today my faith is being tested.
Yeah. My mama didn't sign my permission slip today.
But then, but there are other things. And we didn't talk about this leading up to this, but it's so perfectly connected. But faith and surrender go hand in hand.
Yeah. These words, I think people think of them as ephemeral. Trust, faith, surrender, hope.
They think of them as the soft, woo words and concepts.
Right, the woo.
But I actually think of it as the hardest. It's the hard stuff.
Yes.
It's the hard stuff.
Of course. Wait, cheers. Cheers to the hard stuff.
Cheers.
Y'all, cheers to the hard stuff.
Yes. We have all the beverages. But we're not gonna be like Andy Cohen.
No. Oh God.
And go to,
go crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let the other spirits talk. No. We're not gonna do that. But yeah, I think that's really important and right on point.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the comments. Yeah.
Yep. Rose says, "I agree. Let go, and prepare for the next opportunity." Exactly. And Rose is one of our clients. Juanisha agrees as well. She's one of our mastermind clients.
Hi, Rose. Hi, Markayla.
Hey, Markayla.
I saw you out there.
Welcome. Yeah. So it's interesting, right? Because I think in the pandemic and now post severe pandemic, right? We're wondering, people are trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of the doing is so impeded by them not knowing who to be.
Right.
And so their being is being tested because they've never practiced the soft skills.
Right.
And the illusion of control is all about their hard skills.
Right.
And if we didn't learn anything during the pandemic, is that you don't have control.
Right. I think so. And and it actually applied this universal blanket of lack of control on everybody. Now, everybody didn't experience the pandemic in the same way.
Right.
I'm very clear on that.
Yeah.
There are some of us who experienced the pandemic in a very, very severe way. And I want to have great respect for those people.
Correct.
But for the most part, for the first time, we were all looking at the same human condition and trying to figure it all out and navigate it. And it provided for so many of us an opportunity to transition and rethink what's important.
Mm-hmm.
What do you really need?
Mm-hmm.
What do you really want to do?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I did a lot of personal pivots through the transition.
Yeah, kickball change, pivot.
Yes,
yes.
kickball change, pivot, sachet.
I love it.
Pas de bourrée.
No, she's converted.
Yes.
Now we made her into a dancer. Did y'all hear that? Did you hear?
I used to dance. Yes.
Let's just be clear. I did not know. I don't think I knew that. And
yes.
I
know a little plie.
Most of the smartest people in the world have danced. I just want to say that. Shameless plug.
Yes, I used to dance.
So tell us a little bit about your pivots, Leilani.
Yeah, I mean, my pivot is, we are broadcasting from my home in Charleston, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. I'm a Queens, New York native, mm-hmm. born and raised. And what's interesting is if you had asked me 10 years ago, if I would be living in South Carolina full time, I'd say you are absolutely crazy. There's no way.
Right.
I've been coming down here since I was 2 months old. Uh-huh. My father's from here. But I'm here now and I'm really, really happy. Yeah. And we have a really good airport.
Yeah. I flew into it. It was beautiful.
So I now live in a beach community. Uh-huh. And I always dreamed of living by the beach, and I thought it would come one day, but it's here now. Mm-hmm. We plan, God laughs. Mm-hmm. I work for myself now. Mm-hmm. I've now published 2 editions of my book, my career advice book.
We'll drop the link in the chat below.
And I get to do things that I am interested in doing also. Yeah. In addition to that, and say yes to certain things that really are exciting or interesting to me because I'm curious about culture and people and art. And so I'm saying yes to things like participating in a documentary that we'll be taping next month about a wonderful Black female artist from Charleston, Yvonne Pickering Carter. And you can learn more about her, certainly, and then you'll learn more about her in the documentary.
Right.
Had a friend who is representing her as a gallerist and said, would you want to do this? And I said, yes, I want to do it. Yeah. I can make that date work. And in my last life, I couldn't do that. So that was a pivot. Yeah. Sometimes other circumstances create a pivot. My son is in college. And so I have been an empty nester for a while now because he's been in boarding school, but that was a pivot for me. So now he's coming home as an adult from college. Yeah. That's something.
That's different.
That's different. That's weird. That's real different. I have a great relationship with my parents and my sister and my extended family and friends. And we are very intentional about spending time with each other. Yeah. I turned 50 last August.
Okay, one more cheers.
Ooh, yes.
Cheers to 50
I'm still
years.
celebrating it. It's great. And there's something very liberating about that. Yeah. I'm writing more. I'm in a little bit of a creative sprint right now, just personally. Yeah. Sharing my art with myself. Yes. I'm loving music. So lots of transitions. I was married for 22 years. I am no longer married. Yeah. And
she's cute. Hey. Just to be clear.
Hey. But what I learned through our divorce process and divorce journey is that you can recreate a family without a marriage. And so I am friends with my son's father, and we have formed a really great partnership around raising him to be the man that we are so proud of today.
He's amazing.
So that was a big transition because I was married for a very long time. Yeah. And so that was a transition. And so being single and dating is it. But we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to dating. We promise we will. Okay, that's a whole other episode.
What did they put in the chat?
So why did you say yes? Saying yes to the things that interest you. We had talked before about how yeses are expensive. Yes. Right. And so you want to be really clear who you give your yes to. And there's a woman, the Reverend Deborah Johnson, who wrote a book called The Sacred Yes.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah.
I think I have to read that. I haven't read that, but I do think it's critically important that you say yes to the right things. Yeah. That you say no to the right things and you say yes to the right things, and it makes room for it. Yeah. When you talk about the financial equation, because I'm sure that a lot of your guests and audience and coaching clients are entrepreneurs. Yeah. You have to think about it in the sense of, if I'm spending time working on this for free. Yeah. That's time. Because time is money. That's time that I can't work on this for revenue. And so you have to make choices around that. Yeah. But you also have to make choices about, your energy, your space, um, your time in other ways. You have to say goodbye sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like when you came in tonight, I hope that you felt what other people have told me about the energy here.
Yes,
but I don't let everybody come in here.
Okay. Everybody can't come in.
There's some folks I'll meet you downtown.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Right.
So I try to honor them.
That makes me think about remember the old saying used to be, or when maybe it was an old saying, or maybe it was like an old play where one of the cast was like, "Who in the hell left the gate open?"
Right.
Like, so you can't let everybody in. You can't let everybody in. You can't let everything in. You can't let every energy in.
No, you cannot.
And that's the important part. But
I'm sorry. That was the only call I'll take. That was my son, and I'm telling him I'm on a live stream.
No, Max, we were. The other part about that, though, is that some people get really anxious about letting go. They get anxious about their no because they think it limits them from having something more.
Yeah,
right. They get confused between the power of the yes and the no.
I also think that we get anxious about no because we are people pleasers and we want to be liked.
Yeah.
And I think so many times, especially as women, and some men too, we feel an obligation to say yes and an obligation to everybody else.
Yeah.
And so that I think comes up more.
Yeah.
And where it shows up in so many ways. Choosing a major or a career path because your parents expect you to, or your family expects you to, staying in a situation that doesn't serve you.
Correct.
Because everyone expects that to you.
Yeah.
You know, saying yes to things that you really don't want to say yes to.
Yeah.
There's a woman who I know and I consider a friend, and she's brilliant. And she said once, and I still remember it, and I want to get it right. She said, I want to say yes with conviction and no without apology.
Yes, that's good. Yes with conviction and no without apology. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Chat. Oh, we got Roses in the chat. Child, everyone can't have it. They can't, Rose.
No, right. No. And everyone doesn't deserve even access to a front row seat
to your life.
And I think so many times we're putting everything out there, and we have to preserve that energy too.
Yeah.
You know, we have greater capacity than we have greater potential than we have capacity. So you have to measure it really carefully.
Yeah, you do. You know, and I think people are in this era, I don't want to say this day and age, but because we're in a very particular time right now. Yeah. In this era, I think people are striving for their greatest good, but also wanting it to happen very quickly.
Right. Well, listen, I am a 35-year overnight sensation.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it's just not going to happen overnight. And sometimes I will just tell you some of the valleys have made the successes and the crescendos so much sweeter.
Exactly.
Like those are the sacrifices that success were built on. And I could look back and have perspective.
Yeah.
That is the benefit of the rough time, to have the perspective and say, ooh, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm not where I was.
Right.
And that's great. Like, that's why I'm grateful all the time. Because I just, I don't have everything, but I have a lot.
Yeah.
So I think, but it's not going to happen overnight.
It's not going to happen
overnight. It's going to take longer than you think.
Longer than feels good.
Longer than feels good.
Yeah. I mean, because in the discomfort comes the refinement of the real vision and the next right choice to make.
Right. Well, think about the so-called overnight successes. They're manufactured, by the way.
Right.
And we are the consumers of that product.
Yeah.
So we have decided that all of a sudden this person is worthy of our dollar and our time. But that's manufactured by marketing and branding and companies and products.
Yeah.
A small few people. And then to look at that success as the idea of success, you're going to lose every single time.
Every time.
Every single time.
Right.
I mean, you have to define success for yourself.
Say, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Define success for yourself.
Oh, okay.
What feels good to you? You know, we were joking about this. I got my one car, and my one house,
Right.
and my one son, and my one job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, define success for yourself.
Yeah.
It don't, you know, run your own race. Don't look at everybody else's paper.
Right.
Do your thing.
Because I think what happens is that, well, not that I think, I know that what happens is that people look at other people's success, and sometimes when we don't have a vision of our own, we borrow somebody else's,
Right.
And that's okay at the beginning. Right. But if you don't go back and do the work of refining it after you start doing it, then you just become a carbon copy of them, and you lose who you are.
The pitfall too with that, when it comes to vocation, is that you don't get to take advantage of the emerging opportunities. Like the work that I'm doing today wasn't a job 10, 15 years ago. I'm a cultural strategist, by the way.
Yeah.
So
brilliant, by the way.
What people would say that they want to do and aspire to do, that may change.
Yeah. So
I think the best thing you can be is a curious person.
Yeah.
A constant learner, a perpetual student.
Yeah.
And agile.
Yes, right. Because flex, and I just want to distinguish, right? Because sometimes we have people who are listening who may not be totally engrossed in our community. They might not have all the tools to understand what we're saying, right? So I just want to be clear that agile doesn't mean that you jump ship when it gets hard.
No.
And flexible doesn't mean like, oh, let me pivot now because this is getting crazy.
That's bailing.
Yes.
That's giving up. That is
and there's a fine line with that these days, because there's a lot of tendency towards thinking that feelings are the facts of the matter.
No, they're not. No. I do think there are times to leave. So a good time to leave is if you feel that you have accomplished a set of things or made significant contributions. Because, by the way, you can take that experience and you can market it to the next opportunity, whether it's for somebody else or working for yourself.
Yep.
I do think that you should leave if you are continually suffering indignities, disrespect, or if it's not, that's not sustainable, because that you will internalize those experiences as part of your character and your individual personality, and that's not true. And that causes long-term damage. So there are instances where you should leave. But you got to define your values, and if they run it up to the line, okay, I warned you. If they cross the line, then you have to go. Right. And you got to hold to that. And you also have to, and I had to learn this, you have to prioritize your protests, right? Like, everything can't be a thing. Everything can't be a thing.
So, I mean, but that's in everything. That's in relationships.
Because
it's life.
It's life.
You leave the toilet seat up one more time, I'm leaving. Give me a break.
It's life.
Yeah, right.
It's life. So there's some degree of compromise and flexibility in that way, but you have to have your set of values. But I don't believe in leaving in terms of leaving. Just for the sake of leaving.
Right.
But people are having shorter stints, and I think that that's part of what you're seeing in the Great Resignation, is saying, I don't, this doesn't work for me. Right. And I want to go to a place where my values are more aligned and I'm appreciated.
Exactly.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah. Indeed, Rose says, indeed, there's no values alignment, peace, I am out. Right. You can't be there in pieces. Why did you say I'm leaving?
Leave in a way that is consistent
with who you are,
but also don't have a scorched earth departure. You can leave quietly, I was thinking about this today because Beyonce's a Virgo, I'm a Virgo.
Oh,
okay.
I'm all in.
And I'm going to say this because I'm a fan of both Beyonce and Khalees. Okay, so this is not about...
Because we actually know who Khalees is.
Khalees is an artist that Beyonce allegedly on her new album sampled one of her records. When she heard about it, Khalees posted a series of videos to her social media complaining about Beyonce and not really being about women and not really being about empowerment. Right. And they stole my song and I could have got a phone call, et cetera, et cetera. But my point in bringing this up, because I follow both of them and I like them both.
Right.
But my point on this is that what Beyonce did was say, okay, I'm just going to remove the credits and recut the song, and it's not in there anymore. And she didn't speak anything about it, and she was focused on her thing. So she left the drama of that situation right where it is.
Right where it was.
And I believe that she probably has a focus in her mind not to argue with other artists publicly.
Correct.
She's just not going to do that because when she broke up with the group,
you never
heard you heard the other girls
you
talking
didn't hear
about
from
it,
her.
but you never heard it from her.
Yeah.
To me, I think that is such a great way to handle it. That doesn't mean that she's not annoyed. She don't want to call everybody every name or whatever.
Right.
But be the Beyonce.
Right. You know, the thing is that your focus is fragile. And the more times you let people distracted, it's over.
Yes. Just move forward.
Like
Beyonce.
Right. Like keep your mind
when in
focused
doubt
on you.
What would Beyonce do? She would just sparkle herself on to the next hit.
Okay. Like
she's like, I'm sorry, what did you say?
That's not a part of this configuration.
No.
But it is you're absolutely right.
Thank you for letting me put my pop culture.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
I love when people, because what you're saying is at the essence at the end of the day, who has time to fight?
Yes.
Right?
It takes your energy. You're not going to drag me down there.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't have time for the fight. No. It's not in my schedule.
No.
My calendar is an organizing principle for my energy. I did not schedule that today.
No.
I don't have time. No. Somebody left the gate open and now I got to deal with this. No.
Right. No. So I think that there's a way to leave.
Yes, there's a way to leave. Right. And I think the leaving, you've mentioned several things, right? In transitions that sometimes we have to let go. Mm-hmm. There is going to be a leaving. There is a place where you know that this does not align with your values. But then again, this goes back to the work that we were talking about in the beginning of actually creating your values.
Yeah.
Not aligning yourself with some corporate model or something that says this is our mission, fall in line. But what is your mission?
Yeah.
Right? Having a personal mission.
Yeah. I mean, for me, some of my values, at least 4 of the most important.
Yeah.
Truth, empathy, curiosity, and courage.
Yeah. That's good.
So
that's a good list.
You know, the courage to say the things that need to be said.
Yeah.
And advocate for those who may not be able to advocate. Empathy, being able to try to see the world from your point of view.
Yeah.
And relate. Very different than sympathy.
Very different. I don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
I just want to know how you see it.
Curiosity, knowing that I'm a student. So that's why I say I'm a student. I put that before teacher. Perpetual student, always curious about life. And what did I say? Truth, curiosity, courage, and empathy.
Empathy, yeah. That's good. That's a good list. I only have 2. I can only manage 2.
You can manage more, but I'm sure they are 2 profound values.
My 2 are love and trust.
Yes.
And they just kind of boil down to I don't do anything I don't love, and I don't work with people I don't trust.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's how I kind of encapsulate it. And I tell
But that's privilege. And that's you recognizing your privilege.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we can't all do what we love, and I don't love it all the time.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But I have to explain that to people too. I'm like, I love to communicate. I don't always like answering emails. But I have to go to the highest thing. I have to go to the love for communication, not the blah, 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 blah. Right?
Well, I love it, love over everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, love. Because I love myself to a degree that I have enough to give away.
Yeah.
You know, I don't trade on it.
That's real abundance right there.
Yeah.
That's
like
real abundance.
You got to love yourself enough. And if a person doesn't love themselves, they can't love others. So that, having very faith-centered grandparents, they gave me that on both sides.
Yeah,
my maternal grandmother and my maternal grandfather and mother.
Yeah. That's such a gift. That's
such
a gift.
It is,
because I think a lot of times also people take for granted the teachers who are in their immediate sphere.
Yeah, we're looking to like the Deepak Chopra. Nothing wrong with Deepak.
Nothing wrong with Deepak.
I like him. You know, we're looking to all the masters.
Right.
We have masters in our own family.
Yes. And we all have the capacity to become masters if we're doing the work. Yeah. Right. But the real thing is, how can we master ourselves?
Yeah. I mean, I wish I had listened to the masters in my family.
Right. I wish I see the tricky thing about my family, Leilani, is that I'm the baby of my kind of generation.
Okay.
And
so you had a lot of masters.
But no, they had already like raised. My brother and I are 8 years apart. My cousins and I are 15 years apart.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of there as like the cute tag along. And
Aww.
people were, I was like, but I was listening. They weren't
But
talking
you
to
had
me.
the benefit of all of those generations.
Yeah.
And all of those experiences. By the time you came along,
yeah,
it was just, they thought it was inherent knowledge that you had.
That's what they thought. That is definitely what they thought. Like they weren't talking directly to me, but I was ear hustling all the time.
Yes.
And then
Not
what
the
was,
ear hustle.
what was really transformation that most of them passed away before I even got out of high school.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to soak it up on on the DL.
Yeah, I was just nosy.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, right.
You know, I was always, right. My mother would be like, "Stay out of grown folks' business," and I'd be listening. But I would go to her, and I would say, "Did Miss? Let me make up a name because
Miss Hattie.
Did Miss Hattie really say X, Y, and Z? Did she really throw a pan of hot grits?" No, I'm just kidding, y'all. But I'm just saying, I would go to my mother, and she would talk to me.
Okay.
She would talk to me and explain it, and I think you can learn from those anecdotes and lessons.
Yeah, so. Jackie wouldn't talk to me because she thought I might tell the wrong people, and I was often interjecting, like, "Who said that?" And she was like, "Get your brother."
Yeah, I wouldn't interject.
That was too much.
But they would get real quiet. They'd be like, Leilani's listening.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. What were they just joking? What would they?
What would they do? Yes.
Right. Exactly. Integrity is huge, Juanita. You're right. You have to center on your own values. So, Leilani, I mean, we won't keep them here all night. We'll keep on chatting. But what would be the thing or the moment in your life that you would count as most powerful, most pivotal, or most enlightening right now? I mean, you got a lot of them.
I hate the superlatives. Well, one of the big moments, I hope my son's not watching because I don't want to prompt him to do this inauthentically, but him saying to me, "Mom, I'm proud of you." Mm-hmm. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And my parents saying, "I'm proud of you." Because they're not really effusive.
Right.
They're not like, "Oh, that was
baby,
so good."
Love you.
Yeah. They're not those people. But they'll say, "That's very good. That's very good." Or, "I was trying to tell so-and-so what you did, but I couldn't tell them." And I say, right. Well, thanks for trying to tell them.
Thanks for trying.
So those are moments which kind of, make me just very grateful and well up and things like that. I mean, there are some achievements and things, but I don't know that I have had more moments like that, wow, I made it, or
because as soon as you have the moment that you made it, you're like,
oh,
but then I'm not there.
Thing. Yeah, it's only
but
you know what? I think that's actually pretty sad, actually.
Yeah.
So I think because if we're always striving for something, you're never going to really be happy, So, but I'm not. There's no. I also think that that's a challenge for me in terms of goal identification. Because I'm just trying to be so present. I want to plan for the future. But I'm just really working on trying to be present. What am I supposed to? I'm exactly where I need to be, and what do I need to be learning in this moment? And you can't change the past, and you can't really alter the future.
Right.
All you ever have is this one moment. That's what Eckhart Tolle would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my son saying to me, "I'm so proud of you."
That's awesome.
Just got me.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was like, okay, you did good.
Because at that point, right? They always say, the ultimate transformation is when the student becomes the teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and for that to have happened is, that's
well, and also it's him seeing something, paying attention enough, because it's all about them.
Yeah.
You can have a big job, and I had a big job and everything. He was like, "Mom," calling me, interrupting a meeting. I was like, "What's the matter?" He said, "We're out of printer ink." I was like, "I'm sorry, what?"
That's below my pay grade. I don't do printer ink.
Said, "We are out of printer ink." And I have a project due tomorrow. So I just wanted to catch you before you were on your way home. And I was like, got it.
Okay, thank you.
Because they will tell you what's important.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So the fact that you can fast forward just a few years after that, and for him to recognize what you're doing and say, "Mom, I'm proud of you."
Right. That's amazing.
That's pretty good. You could leave the socks next to the hamper.
Right.
Yeah,
At this point.
For a few more times.
For a few more times. Yeah, I'll take it a couple more times. Well, Leilani, I appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you.
Y'all, I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have.
Bye.
This is Wisdom Wednesdays. This is Leilani Brown, the one and only.
Me.
We're going to drop some links in the comments below on all of these platforms so that if you want to check out her books, From Campus to Cubicle. What's the new one?
From Campus to Career.
Career. From campus. Yeah, you don't want to go to the cubicle. That's
No.
Yeah,
We're at home.
Right. Right.
From campus to the dining room table.
Right. Okay. And
To the
working for yourself.
garage or hybrid or,
Right, whatever you're doing. Tonight's takeaways are, one, think about the work. The work might feel soft because it's what everyone else can't really name, but you doing your work is going to establish your values, your boundaries, and ultimately catalyze your freedom, because the ultimate growth project is just becoming more and more of you.
Yes.
Hey, look, this is Wisdom Wednesdays. I'm Coach Crystal. Thank you, Leilani.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. See you soon.